Hi, and welcome to Over 60 with BC, and I am BC, otherwise known as Blondie Clayton. I wanted to talk to you about my don'ts today. And I made a list of my don'ts because I wanted to make sure that I presented them to you. And the first don't is okay, we know that the world is full of a lot of negativity, a lot of angry people, and we know that there's been a lot of controversy about fake news and so on and so forth. So, one of my don'ts is I don't watch TV. And the reason that I don't watch TV is that not because of anything except that unless it's something that is going to improve my life, help me to overcome a situation in my life, then I really have no use for it. And you may say, well, Blondie, how do you find out about what's going on in the world if you don't watch TV or listen to the radio? Well, I don't. That's not never been a problem because I have these friends, and they always seem to know what's going on, and so they will tell me, "Well, you know, so and so, so," and I'll ask a question, and that will be the end of the conversation. So there's no need for me to fill my head up with that. And when they're feeling that this is their choice and they're sharing, they want to share that information with me. And so I've chosen not to. I've chosen to spend my days with things that build me up and not make me sad and depressed and tear me down. And I found that TV for me did that. I'm not telling you what you can do. I'm just telling you about my don'ts. I don't watch TV. And the other thing that I don't do is I don't eat a lot of fast food, mainly because I had, well, it's not, my heart surgery wasn't because I did not eat properly. It was something that happened. And I had four blocked arteries about 3 years ago, and I had to have a bypass. And so I never did eat a lot of fast foods even then, before then, and I certainly don't eat them now. I prefer, and as a matter of fact, always I've cultivated the habit of growing my own vegetables. I like to eat out of my garden, and so once in a while I would have some fast food, but I don't make fast food an everyday thing. And so that's another one of my don'ts. And another one is I don't stay in bed past 6:30. And I know there are some of my friends who are retired, they don't get up early. I really was never a morning person growing up as a child, but I have grown to be more of a morning person. I'm not so much of a late night person now as I started out to be when I remember when I worked as a court reporter, I was a late night person, but I didn't like getting up in the morning, but you have to get up and get your children ready to go to school, or you have to get up and get ready to go to your job. So I did what I needed to do at that time. So now I really don't have to get up that early in the morning, but I choose to get up because I find when I get up early and I start my routines early, that gives me a whole day. I feel like I've accomplished more when I do it like that. When I get up at, let's say, 9 o'clock, which rarely will ever happen, at 8:30 at the most, 8 o'clock, but when I get up later, I find that the I don't get as much done because right now I'm playing pickleball every day, at least 5 or 6 days a week, for an hour and a half to 2 hours, and so I that cuts into my work time, and I work for myself, of course. Well, I work for God, and as a and then He allows me to be a steward over certain things that He has me doing. So that's something that I don't do. I don't stay in bed past a certain time, and I for a little while, a couple of weeks ago, I was doing. Let's say I was going to bed at like 1 o'clock because I'm writing a novel for this gentleman with this gentleman, and so I was staying up a little bit later. But I have stopped doing that now, and I'm back to a regular schedule since we had the time change. And it seems like since the time change, things have just slowed down. And I never realized how much the changing of the time would impact, well, at least my life. It always has, but as I've gotten older, I realize it even more this time. Anyway, my next don't is I don't entertain negative thoughts long. I might have a negative moment, but I try not to let it last very long. And I have learned and I practice taking those thoughts captive, thinking them through, don't let them occupy rent space in my mind that they're not paying for. And so that's another one of my don'ts. And another thing that I don't do is that I don't use my stepper and my stationary bike inside. I prefer to go out to the gym so that I can meet people, get to know people, be in the company of people rather than just everything, isolation because I'm older. No, I want to get out and be with people because people bring me joy. I get to meet people, I get to hear their stories. It's just fabulous. And I've always had a fascination for that, even when I was younger. I remember when I lived in Brooklyn, New York, and the immigrants got to meet the immigrants, and they came in, and I just wanted to know all their stories. Where did you come from? What was it like living in your country, and so on and so forth. So, anyway, just wanted to share some of my don'ts as an over 60 with BC. And hey, if you feel like it, share some of your don'ts with me. You can send me an email at coach23blondie@gmail.com. Anyway, I sure hope that you give some thought to the things that are not adding value to your life and that are not giving you encouragement, not lifting you up. I sure hope that you will rethink how you are doing your life. And in the meantime, until next time, keep the faith. Coach Blondie, signing off.